Company is a form of incorporated business organization which is registered under the Companies Act 2016. A company may be classified into limited and unlimited company depending on the extent of liability of its members. A company can also be classified as private or public company depending on whether it can offer its shares to public, whether there is any restriction on the company to transfer its shares. What is the function of having a Company Act in Malaysia? Generally, the functions of practicing Company Act Malaysia are to regulate the formation of the company as it is related to its organizational and other elements of company matters according to Company Act 1965. A company must come up with the same interest and objective towards the performance of the company. However, Malaysia has improvised its provisions into the latest update of Company Act 2016. One of the key updates of Company Act 2016, a single person was able to be the main director of a company rather than two people in the previous Act. Company can be classified into two general categories, which is limited and unlimited, and also private and public limited companies. Limited by shares means that the liability of the member is limited to the amount of shares that they held. This means that if a member has fully paid for the shares, he will not be liable for the debts of the company and vice versa. Meanwhile, unlimited company means that there is no limit on the liability of its members and it can be either private company or public company. Private company is owned by a small number of shareholders and does not offer to sell its stocks to general public. Characteristics of private companies. Section 42 Corporate Act 2016 is divided into three, which is a company limited by shares. The prohibitions of private companies under Section 43 of Corporate Act 2016, which is a company cannot offer its shares or debentures to the public. Section 43, subsection 1, clause A, it cannot allot shares or debentures with the view of offering them to the public. Section 43, subsection 1, clause B, and it cannot invite the public to deposit money to the company in Section 43, subsection 1, clause C. General companies are companies whose shares are listed on Bursa Malaysia. Advantages of supportership is that they have no employment tax for the business owner, but the negative side of it is that they have unlimited absolutely, which means the owner of the business are fully liable for any losses and as for the company. The advantages of this type of business is that the only other shareholders of the company are not personally liable for any risk or legality of the company. Therefore, the shareholders' property cannot be seized if the company is bankrupt. Means when two or more persons agree to carry on a business and share the profits. It's also different which has not a separate legal entity. There are four types of partnership, which is active, dormant, quasi, and salaried. It also governed by the Partnership Act 1961. As stated in the case Young White Shows versus Trading, the court looked at the intention of the parties from the evidence to determine if there was a partnership between the defendants. In conclusions, a company is an artificial person that exists independently of the individuals they are owned, managed, and supported. It's generally organized to make from business, and each country has its own hierarchy of firms